my boss.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Training, Learning, and Development community. Happy Friday to you. Sorry we're a little late. We just started chatting, and I forgot that we were supposed to go live. But thanks for coming in today. Glad that you're here with us, and I'm very excited to have for our second member showcase, Kim Lindsey, who is
Yay!
a time supporter of TLDC and works for our friends over at Cinecraft. And Dan, Kim, thank you so much for doing this today. It's great having you in this Friday.
My pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. So as some of you may or may not know, these episodes are, I'm calling them member showcases, where what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just sort of like, I don't know, activate the community a little more just by reaching out to, to members and subscribers and just having them come on to the broadcast and talking to them a little bit about themselves. We're going to continue, of course, to do other series, like we have the accessibility playlist happening, and that's starting next week. And I'm just going to, we're just continuing to program other topic related subjects for our TLD casts, but L&D professionals also deserve their own little episodes, and I think today's going to be a great one with Kim. And so, Kim, you seem to be pretty popular. I saw on social media you have a lot of support out there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do, I think you were in yesterday, you saw that I just have a bunch of questions I'm going to ask you. We have about 30 minutes where we're just going to like hammer you with this stuff and see what we come up with. And I'm really curious about this stuff because I've known you for a few years now, but I don't know enough about you. We've met a few times at conferences and stuff, and it's always wonderful to be around you. And so I'm excited about this opportunity to actually have a short conversation with you online.
Me too. Me too. Thank you.
So Cinecraft is obviously, like, I've had the pleasure of being able to talk to Dan directly, but you're over there, and it seems like there's probably more than one answer to this, but what is the favorite part of your job?
Oh, let's see. I have my crib notes ready. It's like, to me, it's getting inside the learner's head and being able to really understand who they are, what their job is, what their priorities are, so that I can create the best information flow and level it and create the best learning experience for them that I can. It's that empathy aspect, and that really is the thing that I enjoy the most.
Oh, no, that's great. Can you just describe like a typical day for you? I'm just curious. Like, I know this is I'm gonna throw some of these out at you as well.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I usually would work in the office there at Cinecraft, and we're in Ohio City, which is right to the west of downtown Cleveland. And we have a lovely, unique facility. It's a pleasure. And I come in the morning, but now, of course, everybody's working from home, which I'm so thankful to be able to do. Go in the morning, greet everybody, get my task list for the day. But most of the time, I'm either studying, having meetings to gather content and get questions answered. I'm writing storyboards for e-learning, or and I work in Microsoft Word almost exclusively. Or it could be the materials for an instructor-led training, or I don't know. Dan had just asked me if I'd done any virtual instructor-led training, and I know I've done ones that they were thought that they were going to do it that way, but then they decided not to. So I haven't been able to remember any of that yet, Dan, but I'm still trying. So really, I work with words, either reading, studying, hearing, or writing. And wow. I do, yeah.
So you're in it. You're right in it. So I think I seen the other day that you were taking like a workshop from Patti Shank or something like
Yeah, I'm very excited. She's got a shortened version of her multiple choice questions
that. Mhm.
workshop that she had offered, and so I did sign up for that and learn from the master. So much of what we do is basically multiple choice questions, whether it's scenario based learning or an actual knowledge check,
Love it.
or we do write assessment questions when the client asks us to as well. So to be able to have quality on multiple choice, it's going to be very important. I'm thrilled.
That's great. That sounds like a great opportunity, and Patty is wonderful. I worked with her for years, so I got to get her on the show. So with what you do, is there anything you wish you had known when you had started out?
Mm. Well, the number one thing is to get into this field earlier because I really love it a lot. And as most of you know, I was a midlife career changer, and I was in a totally different field. I was a hospital laboratory technologist for about 17, 18 years.
Wow.
And so I would have been in the lab running the blood tests for coronavirus or
Yeah.
something like that. It it was a challenging field. You felt like you were saving lives or helping on the team. I did not have a lot of direct patient contact. We were in the lab running the big machines. I missed the big, maintaining, tearing them down and stuff like that. That's the that my coworkers I miss. But then I changed careers and became a technical writer, and then nudged over into instructional design after 10 years as a tech writer. And this field of all the ones that I've been in is probably the best fit for me personally. And I wish I would have done it earlier. The other thing that I have in my crib notes is early on when I did enter instructional design, I felt like a weak spot was that I didn't know the jargon. Working for a consulting company, and our clients would have, a master's degree in instructional design or adult learning principles. And I really made it a point to learn that jargon. It would have been helpful to have known that before I got into the field, but that was on me to make sure that I learn it. And still, it's not instinctive, all the terminology and the acronyms and stuff. So I really have to keep on my toes because I want to do the best for the clients.
How did you go about learning all that jargon?
I found that well, it was just little by little. I learned a lot, of course, on TLDC, but I'd been in the field several years already before you guys started, and it was more reading articles online, anything I could find. The one thing, I did take a couple of ATD classes about instructional design, but the thing that really helped me most was the Society for Technical Communication. They offered an instructional design introduction course taught by Saul Carliner, who's he's in, I believe, Toronto or Montreal, at a college. And it was because I had been a technical writer. He knew how to talk to both audiences because he is the head of both programs at his college. And so he really, like, right in a row, gave stuff that it was easier for me to assimilate and then use later on. So
that's great. Yeah, that's interesting because yesterday Toddy was talking about how she sort of had to do the same thing. She grabbed a book, Rapid Instructional Design. And it's interesting to hear that. I actually love hearing that because it sort of opens up, the process to how people get into this field and sort of the things that they go through, and already two sort of common characteristics, first two guests. Let's see here. Who or what keeps you inspired?
Oh, let's see. Where's my notes on that? Oh, there it is. My personal learning network, that's for sure. I just want to, because I have high quality stuff here, This is empathy for my learners, and really caring about people. And you all will have heard me talk about this book, The Shift by Kimberly White. And it is all about, don't be put off. It's about stories about in a nursing home and how the staff has empathy for the residents. It's not overly intense. So, anybody, a lay person, can read it, but really just that caring about that person in their job, and how many projects you're on where I mean, the learning and development department, they maybe don't know. And the Uber management, I mean, these people are so far down the food chain that the Uber management, it seems distant. So I feel like I'm the one who really can care. It's not that other people don't care. They just, but it has to be my focus if I'm to do well. And the other thing is great music, like especially movie soundtracks, anything by John Williams or Avengers Endgame. I have listened to that probably hundreds of times. Is the greatest soundtrack ever. Sorry,
Wow.
John Williams. So yeah, I better not think about it. I start crying.
Oh my gosh.
I am Iron Man.
First, I want to say, I think one of the things that inspires me, I'm just throwing this in there, some personal stuff, is that
Superman. Yeah.
I see that when instructional designers seem to be like some of the more passionate people that I know, when they're really focused on their learners. And that's actually what inspires me to continue to, to push in TLDC. And so I love hearing that. And then I love listening to movie soundtracks as well, because it almost feels like, especially at work, it almost feels like you're getting to watch the movie again. Because
yes. I learned not to listen to that Avengers Endgame soundtrack in the car when I'm driving, because it's not that I'm going fast. I'll do that with the Ride of the Valkyries, or Beethoven. But I'm there crying.
Oh my God.
Wow. I love that movie. So anyway,
I love it. That's so great. So let's see, if you could have a tool or service that you don't currently have, what is it?
Oh, I loved this question, Luis. I really loved this question. Well, seeing as most of the time I work in Word, and I am its master. I am the master of Word. What it has that some of the other tools don't have is the ability to display those invisible characters. I really wish that you could do that in PowerPoint. I wish so strongly that you could do that in PowerPoint. So the technical writing tools, you could do that as well, because I want to see what it's doing. I want to know why it's not doing, what I expected it to do. And that just helps me to be more efficient in my work. And the one other thing I was able to think of is that I wish was different is that I think I know that we do, and I have a feeling that most everybody does, switch to these cloud-based file sharing and file transfer type things rather than emailing stuff back and forth. And what I have noticed is that doing that seems to strip out the properties of the document. And I can go there and it doesn't tell me when it was created, when it was modified, who did anything. It thinks that I just created it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just a nature of those kinds of tools. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, I had a project years ago, early in my Cinecraft tenure, and I was dealing with 500 or 600 source files, duplicates, 3, 4, 5 copies of the same file. Which one is the most current? Who made it? Yeah. If I didn't have those properties, I would literally not have been able to have done that project. Wow. I couldn't have. So I wish that functionality was there, but I think that's just the nature of it. I don't think they can do that.
Yeah, maybe if anybody knows of any cloud services that can, that maintains, document properties and stuff, feel free to post it in chat. That's an interesting one. We might have to look into that one. So speaking of that, is there anything in particular that you're working on right now that you can share?
Well, right now I have my list. I am going to be starting, I believe, next week, updating a series of cybersecurity courses for a diversified global company. I am redoing the curriculum for talent acquisition for a retail company. I'm just finishing up with a course on installing HVAC equipment, and we'll probably be hopefully starting a couple of more courses for that. And I have a series of courses on retail store operations for another client that is on hold, but that will be starting up again, I hope, soon. And preparing for Patti Shank's course. I think that's enough.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. You sound busy, and you're lucky to be as busy.
I am. Oh, thank you, Dan Kacken. You rock, man.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. That's a testament to Dan too, definitely.
Yeah. Yes, Jane. Yes, you can come to me with word questions. I have got it whipped. Absolutely whipped.
That's
Yes.
great. Is there a particular project that you're especially proud of that you'd like to talk about?
Um, let's see. What did I say for this one? Oh, we had you. I think I sent you the link to our animation video,
Oh yes,
and there's a couple of things in there, and one of them is something that I mean, it's just so delightful. So if you want to go ahead and show that.
yeah. Let me go ahead and grab that. I'd run that, and let's see. Hopefully, it'll come up okay on the screen for everybody. Or
I'm sorry I'm not keeping up with the chat very well, you guys. It's on my little screen here, and I can't see it as well. But I don't want to have it over here and then the camera over there. So that would be bad.
all right, let me pull it up. So, talk a little bit about this video, if you could.
Okay, well, Dan could probably talk about it better than I could. It's only 83 seconds, and it is a combination of, I don't know, probably about 15, 18 different videos or animated sequences that we have done for various clients. And it just kind of shows our capabilities, 2D, 3D, line drawing. They're just little short clips. I think it's just music in the background and not audio. Some of them have been genericized a little because, we respect what our clients tell us that we can do with these things. But I was just, I mean, I recognize my projects, but then I'm like, we did that. Oh my goodness.
You know what I can do
So
is
pretty.
let me run it, and then maybe you could
Yes.
talk over it a little bit. So I'm
Okay.
going to minimize our video just so that we can have this as full screen. And then let me see. I might have to adjust the volume on the actual thing. Can you guys see that?
I can see it.
Okay. And I don't know if you can hear it. It might not be pushing out the audio that well. Is that something that's coming through?
It's coming through really pretty faint.
Okay.
But you can see, I mean, there's just like our animators are genius. This is my course with the 2D and the cybersecurity, and we're redoing that now. There's our criminal hacker.
That's really cool.
So, yeah, and we have so many different things that we do for so many different clients, and it just depends on the level that they're looking for. And this is from a blended learning course that I had done, that sketch one. But you can see, I mean, some of them look real. I mean, it's 3D modeling, but it looks like the actual thing. And this is animated elements that are added to actual industrial and promotional videos. So you can see we're using the animation to convey the message. And
Super
here's something, isn't that wild?
Yeah,
I'm
really
so proud of our animators.
Great job.
Oops, it's frozen. It's going slow, at least for me, but that's okay. That was the very last one. So yeah, we'll have to put the link in there. And I have all these other links, and that one I did not put in. So if you can paste it in real quick,
Yeah,
Luis,
absolutely.
or Dan, if you can paste it in. But
I'm gonna paste it in now. That is really, really amazing.
I
did watch it once, and I was like, "Wow, that animation is like top notch."
It's such a variety. It's whatever will meet the learning need. It doesn't always have to be the 3D and realistic type of a stuff. And it's also depends on the client's budget and the learning goals. So yeah, it just please everybody take a look at that, because I'm really proud of our team.
That's great. No, you're lucky. To be able to work in an environment that produces, that type of content. It's really wonderful. So, best compliment you've ever received?
Oh, these are good. I like this question. First of all, getting hired at Cinecraft, because as from my experience as a technical writer, I knew I could write, but instructional design is a little different. So that was the biggest compliment that I've have received, and probably in my adult life.
I'm kind of curious about that one. So, how did you get hired there? Like, why don't you talk
Oh,
about
that's a very good question. Groups like TLDC, the professional societies, to me, they have been solid gold. When I got out, when I was still in healthcare, I joined my local chapter of the Society for Technical Communication, and I started getting involved. And the people in that chapter and the contacts that I made, that has gotten me every writing job that
that?
I've had, which is only 4. But when I was laid off in 2009 from a tech com job, and one of Dan's clients, actually, I had worked with her at a previous job, and she suggested that he hire me to work on her projects, that the business that she and her company were bringing to Cinecraft. And I had my portfolio and I was all prepared, and Dan's I'm going to be honest. Dan says, well, Stephanie says that should hire you. So when can you start? But I take it that he's not sad that he did that, and so I work with for a lot of different clients now. It's been a very good fit. It's much more creative and diverse of type of projects than what I had in TechCom. But
Yeah.
I do have that strong IT and technical and scientific background,
Yeah.
which is something that I can bring to the table here at Cinecraft.
Yeah.
So that's a good strength. But I do have a couple of more. I had a client say a couple of weeks ago on a call, we were discussing moving forward. The outline was approved and moving forward to go ahead and writing the storyboards. And what she said, it just touched my heart. She says, everything we discussed is in this outline. You heard everything we said. I'm like, that is gold. That is what I want. I want to do what they are directing me to do.
Yeah.
Another one, the one with the 500 or 600 source documents, and our post meeting with the client, one of their executives got on the call, and he said, and I wrote it down because it was so good. Over the past 5 years, several teams have tried to create this training curriculum. It was a 2-week training. This team succeeded, and I was the only writer. So it was a 2-week instructor-led training in a field that I really knew nothing about, but it was a challenging project. So, and I got to say, I got a shout out from Yellow's Marble Runs on Twitter. That was really, it's like, we love you, Kim. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, fangirl.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I see. I see you post about that on a regular basis. And I keep
know, it's
forgetting.
so
I want to
fun.
share some of those with my son, 6-year-old. He loves that stuff. So.
Oh, he totally would. It's perfect audience for that.
No, that's great. That's great. Okay, let's see. How would your best friend describe what you do for a living?
Oh, well, my best friend is pretty tech savvy, and so she would say that Kim writes things that help people to do their job better, because that's a lot what she does as well. So, and that's basically what we do. And so I do the writing part. Luckily, I'm on a team where other people do the animation, the video, and the audio, and the graphics. So, the working with the tools, I just do the writing part. But I write things that help people do their job better.
Do you do any other writing? Do you like any fiction at all?
Mm,
Anything like that? Anything out there that?
That's one of the things that I had for another, something that I wish that I was really good at. But because I wish that I have a lot of thoughts. You know me, I'm a thinker. I have a lot of thoughts, but I wish that I had the courage and the discipline to actually write it up and post articles on LinkedIn or even on my own blog.
Mhm.
But I'm always so concerned that, somebody will misunderstand it. Somebody will, and be offended that I didn't mean to offend. And so I guess I'm too cautious. So
Mm.
I wish that I had more courage about that. I mean, I do write, journal. I used to write, poems and song lyrics when I was young, but that's been a long time ago.
Right, right. Okay,
No.
interesting. I'm just curious about you, like, because it sounds like you're so passionate about what you do. It'd be almost like kind of be fun to sort of see a portfolio or something.
The secret is me to defend them. That's not gonna work for me. Yeah, maybe when I'm retired, Jonathan. When I'm retired, then you can count on me to be expressing some opinions.
Hey Joseph, I'm posting that link in again for some reason. If that other one didn't work, I just dropped it in again. Oh wait, oh sorry, Dan posted that.
That's
Now
okay.
he beat
Yeah.
me to it. Okay.
Well, and if you still need a link later, Kim at cinecraft.com. Just you can always email me.
So what is something you wish you were really good at?
Other than the courage to the posting the
Right.
blog articles, um, I like everybody. I do wish that I was a better listener. Everybody can always approve. I think I'm okay at it, but I do wish that I was even better at it. And really, a lot of the times I wish that I knew how to use the graphics and the authoring tools and that kind of things, but that's not my role. And I do enjoy what I do, but sometimes I wish, maybe I wonder if I could make something, but I think I'm a little too far downstream right now. So I'm just thankful that I work in a place where we have good collaboration and so that everything gets put together well.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like you guys are like you work really well together as a team.
Well, we do. I mean, I wish that I wish that I could, play a musical instrument, but I don't even type well after all these years. I just don't. My finger coordination, that's not. Yeah. Oh
Interesting.
well. Got to have your limitations.
Wow. So speaking of that, you've already talked about how you used to be a lab tech.
Mhm.
Any other kinds of jobs that you've worked even when you were like a kid?
Oh, this is a good question with me, Lise. Because by the time I graduated from college, I'd had 20 jobs.
Wow.
20 of those little jobs, working your way through college. So I have my list. Um, Waitress, retail cashier, retail
Oh,
sales,
mhm.
shop floor in a factory, midnight shift, fast food, was a courier, file clerk for a manufacturing company, and then I was a hospital lab tech, technical writer, transcript editor in my current job, and I hope to be an artist in my retirement of some kind, beads or painting or something like that. And in addition, I've also done volunteer work. Almost my entire life, I've been doing volunteer work from the time I was 10 years old.
Mm.
So I was an assistant dance instructor and choir member in many different choirs, music librarian for a choir. I was an usher for the Cleveland Orchestra for a long time and in their choir. And in that role, in my ushering role, I was the bouncer for the backstage area on Saturday nights for about 8 years. Yes, you can go in to see the conductor. No, you can't, And that was another one of my compliments because the Alan Gilbert, who is previously the music director of the New York Phil, when he was with us when he was younger, and then Yahya Ling, who is also not with us, but they both told me, Kim, you're the perfect person for this job. And I'm like, do I look like a bouncer? And they said, no, because you can turn people away without them getting angry.
Mm.
And that was the thing, because, these people might be donors. They might, you don't want to offend anybody. And that was a real joy. You got to know the musicians and their families a little bit. And what an honor. So
That's great.
the upshot of all this is that I can relate to almost any learner in almost any company because I've either done that job,
Right.
had
Yeah.
a job, had work that job was in my company,
Mhm.
So that once again is that empathy. It's a strength.
That's like, yeah, it definitely qualifies
Mhm.
you for being a trainer. No, that's great. I'm just still kind of like, I'm cracking up to myself thinking about an actual bouncer for an orchestra. Never
Well, you
really
don't really see
considered
this.
that.
I mean, you're just standing by the door. You're just standing by the door and saying, I'm sorry. They're
Right.
not seeing anybody today.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I like J Rock saying orchestra groupies are the worst.
Well, the worst one was when they had a new orchestra member, and I literally thought she was in high school. I was trying to keep her out of the backstage
Oh.
they and she was in the orchestra.
Yeah.
And then her colleagues just started like, she had such a baby face, such a wonderful girl, and they say, no, she's in the orchestra.
That's great.
The music students, they were the worst. They were on, because they would know the back ways in, and stuff. Yeah. I shouldn't say worst. They're wonderful people. So
that's so
that
hilarious.
is right, Dan. Greatest in the world.
So
and
Kim,
they're nice people.
If you weren't an L&D professional, you'd be what?
Well, I've already been a lot of stuff.
Right.
Right about now, I'm thinking, well, I would really like to be an interior decorator because I've got this house that, it's like, where do I hang these paintings on the wall? What do I do? I would enjoy gardening. I would enjoy, I can always go back in the lab. Home remodeling, that looks really fun. Demoing, with a sledgehammer, that looks really fun. And being a public speaker on social issues, that might be a retirement thing for me too, because I have a lot of opinions.
Right. Well, when you were a kid, what did you think you were going to, did you have any aspirations to anything in particular when you grew up?
What I actually always thought that I would be a veterinarian.
Really?
And my undergraduate degree, which is my only college degree, is a Bachelor of Science in Zoology. So that was I probably could have done that, but I'm a more creative person, and it took me a while, but as I got older, I got better at the humanities. When I was younger, I was, and in school originally, I was more just in the sciences and math and, very black and white. And then as I got older, I got better, you develop, everybody does. And I discovered all these other talents that I never knew that I had.
Yeah.
So really, I do think I'm going to be some kind of an artist when I get to be retirement. That's my goal.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here, Cam. Last question. If there's one thing that people should know about you, what is it?
Well, I'm going to say this personally, that Lord Jesus Christ is the foundation of my life, and I owe everything to him. But professionally, that relating to learners and helping them succeed is my passion. And I like to think that no one cares more about the learners than me. So
that's lovely. What a way to end it. Thank you so much, Kim.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm just thrilled. I miss you all so much. Even actually, this community has had a little head start on the whole rest of the universe because we're used to this. And this format, really, it's a video. It's this being able to see people that I think is the glue that has held TLDC together.
Yeah.
And you all just mean the world to me. I have learned so much from every single person here. Love to you all.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. Now I'm going to start to tear up a little bit. No, it's great. And
I'm Iron Man.
So everybody, after you get off, go ahead and turn on that end game soundtrack. And think about Kim. Kim, thank you so much for doing this again. Just today, I'm glad we finally got a chance to sit down and have a chat with you. And
thank you, Luis. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. And stay safe out there. Wear your mask. Stay home.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Every day we pretty much have a broadcast, so it's going to be a busy week next week. I kind of didn't plan for it to be that way, but here we go. But this is good. All right, you guys, take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye.